He claims to be this deal maker, but he's just a bully. He's stomping in there saying, this is ours now. This is ours. 50%. Give it to us, or else we'll destroy you. That's not negotiation. That's not a deal. That's violence. Give us what we want, or we will harm you, is not negotiation. So, peace negotiations with Donald Trump. Let's see. Ukraine's future is the focus of the Munich Security Conference, just days after a shock phone call between U.S. President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin, in which they agreed to begin negotiations to end the Ukraine war. Why do negotiations need to happen? Putin, leave. That's it. The negotiations are 2 words. Putin, leave. That's it. It's not his land. It's not his country. He is broken in and stealing from them. If someone broke into my house and stole a bunch of my stuff, what negotiation is there? I have to negotiate with what they get to keep? That doesn't make any sense. Why would I negotiate with the robber, the burglar who's taking it from me? Why is there a negotiation here? Donald Trump the cops don't come in and say, okay, let's negotiate on what Waldo gets to keep and what the burglar gets to keep. Let's negotiate on this. That's not how this operates. That's not how any of this works. Doesn't make any sense at all. But they are on Vladimir Putin's side, so they want him to win. Describing the call earlier this week as great, Trump said that there was a good possibility of ending the horrible, very bloody war that Russia started with no reason. Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky warned that his country must not be left out of any peace talks. European allies seemed surprised by the nature of the call, with French President Emmanuel Macron warning that any peace agreement which involved capitulating to Russia would end badly for everyone. That's exactly what Donald Trump is doing. It's still unclear when peace negotiations could begin, but when they do, issues around territory, security negotiations, Ukraine's future, and NATO will be among the key topics for discussion. Here's what the different sides said. Okay, so look at this map. This is a map. Look at this photograph. Russia is over here, and the red is land they stole from Ukraine. It's very simple. They took it. Then they put troops there. And when Ukraine tried to push them out, they shot at them. And they're killing each other over land. This is some 17th century shit here. This isn't complicated global nuance. They wanted it. They took it. And if you can't stop them with bullets, they'll take some more. Stop doing that. That's the peace treaty. That's the answer. Russia, stop doing this. They're the ones doing it. And Crimea was taken by Russia back in, during Obama's terms, So Russia took Crimea back in 2014. Yeah. They took, back when Obama was in charge, they took that too. Now they're taking this. Why are they just allowed to take things from other people? That seems like a crime to me. That sounds like a bad idea. And why would Donald Trump accept it? Well, because he's a con man who wants to take from you. Donald Trump also wants to take Canada. He wants to take Mexico. He wants to take Greenland. He wants to take the Panama Canal. He wants to take these things. Realpolitik, yeah. He wants to take these things. And if Russia isn't allowed to take things, well, then Donald Trump will also not be allowed to take things. So he needs the globe to see that it's acceptable to just take shit, because he wants to take shit. That's it. Why is Donald Trump on Russia's side? 1, he likes the oligarchy. 2, he likes the idea of government, of money, by money, for money. And he wants to take shit from other people. He wants to take your money. He wants to take your tax dollars. He wants to take your non-tax dollars by selling you a product that isn't real. He wants to take over media companies so that they'll say what he wants them to say. And he wants to take Greenland. And he wants to take Canada. He wants to take. And if we stop them from taking, then you're standing in his way and you're being unconstitutional if you don't let him steal from you. Because he doesn't know what the word means, and unconstitutional just means anything he doesn't like. Anything he doesn't like is simply unconstitutional.
Hello human, it is me Kanuch. I need you to press the subscribe button. I have to feed my many AI babies.
Let's see. Following the overthrow of the Ukraine pro-Russian president in 2014, Russia annexed the Black Sea Peninsula of Crimea and backed pro-Russian separatists in bloody fighting in the regions of Donetsk and Luhansk. So yeah, I think this is just explaining the things. Could Ukraine become a NATO member? I think this is a situation that we could discuss. Yeah, bad news, Shinsinto. The Trump JPEGs and meme coins aren't actually real. His meme coin is to take your money. His NFTs are to take your money. I'm sorry, I had to let you know. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but he's just stealing from you. NATO is a complicated subject, but not as complicated as people are trying to make it out to be. What is NATO? Very simply, very stupidly, very small-brained, I will give you the very simple explanation of it. It is a military alliance that prevents Russia from stealing from people. That's it. It's a whole bunch of groups of countries that banded together to prevent Russia stealing from them. Let's look at this map, and you see that Russia is stealing from people. They're stealing from Ukraine. This is why Ukraine would like to be in NATO. It's a group of people that band together to prevent Russia from stealing. It's the NATO. Whenever you hear people talk about NATO, it's the anti-Russia stealing brigade. That's what they do. They band together to keep Russia from stealing. Russia's stealing Crimea, stealing Kherson, stealing Zaporizhzhia, stealing the Donetsk, stealing Luhansk, stealing other people's land is what Russia does. That's why NATO got invented, to prevent them from doing that. That's why Ukraine wants to be in NATO. NATO has a couple of complicated and difficult entrance criteria, however. One of those criteria is that you can't be involved in a current war with Russia over land, which is why Russia took Crimea, because they wanted Ukraine not to enter NATO, because that would prevent them from stealing from them. And they cry and they scream and they whine that, oh no, they're going to enter NATO. Well, okay, yeah, why would they enter NATO? Because they don't want you to steal from them, and you're stealing from them. You see how all this fits together? Russia will go on TV, and Donald Trump even himself will go on to TV and look into the camera and say, oh, well, see, Russia had to invade and steal all this land because Ukraine was going to enter NATO, and NATO was going to prevent Russia from stealing their land. It doesn't make any sense. This anti-NATO idea. Is NATO perfect? No. Do they sometimes do bad things? Do they sometimes back up bad ideas? Yes, they're not perfect. Russia felt like they wanted the land. Exactly. Russia wanted this land, and if they were part of NATO, they wouldn't be able to take it, which means that they can't let Ukraine join NATO, and this is apparently, according to Republicans, an acceptable plan. You can't let Ukraine enter NATO because then Russia won't be able to steal from them. Stupid liberals. How's Russia going to steal land if they're in NATO? Dumbass fucking leftists. What are they thinking? Are you pro-Russia stealing things from people? That seems like a bad position to be in. That seems like a dumb position to hold. But the entire Republican Party holds it. They hold the idea that Russia is allowed to steal. For the three reasons that I said before. They like the money, they like the dysfunctional government, and they also want to steal. So anybody saying that it's complicated, it's not. Anybody saying that it is a complex and difficult situation is covering Russia's ass. It's not complicated. It's not difficult. Are simple things signs of a baby brain? Yes, but simply put, Russia stealing, we would like them to stop. They could stop anytime they feel like it. They could leave. Their troops could leave to the Russian side of that border, and the fighting would be over. That's it. Simple. But Donald Trump doesn't like that simple answer, so he has to create a complicated weave of, well, they have it, so it's theirs now, and we have to do complicated peace talks. And the other thing is that Trump officials pitched Zelensky on U.S. owning 50% of Ukraine's rare earth minerals. So, global politics is sometimes difficult. Here is some of the difficulty. We did give Zelensky a bunch of money and weapons to defend his country. Now, if you weren't a ham-fisted piss poor negotiator, the way Donald Trump is, you would suggest to him in a very calm, backroom, behind the scenes kind of way, hey, once you're safe, let's work on a plan to get those minerals out so that you get rich, we get to buy them on the cheap, and your country is safe. This is diplomacy. It's not it's obvious what we want from this situation. We will help you defend your borders, we will give you weapons, and in return, someday soon, our companies are going to work with your companies to extract minerals and wealth from the ground that we get on the cheap. That's not conspiracy. It's just business. Trump said all involved loves the deal. They said they'd be happy with the deal. The deal that he has is Russia wins and Ukraine gets nothing. The art of the steal, that's right. Did you know that Ukraine is so flat the only thing that can stop a bullet is a human body? That is a physics lesson that I did not expect from Donald Trump, that the only thing that stops a bullet is a human body. If you fire a bullet and it doesn't hit a person, it circumnavigates the entire globe and then hits you in the back. Careful with that shit, 10 past 11. There are billions of people, so it's going to hit a person before it hits you in the back. But if you timed it properly, maybe you could fire the gun, dodge roll to the left or the right, I don't care, or just hit the ground as fast as possible and create a forever spinning bullet that circumnavigates the globe over and over and over and over and over again until it hits someone. Free energy, troll face, let's do it. The art of the steal, right? Trader Todd. Donald Trump wants to steal. He wants it to be acceptable on the global stage for taking other people's land. That is the plan. That is the peace treaty. Now, if you were actually doing some sort of peace treaty, if you were doing some sort of treaty, yeah, I think Russia is in the wrong here. But make them stop advancing and, follow me here, put Ukraine in NATO immediately. Draw the borders where they were on that map that we just saw. I think I closed it. Draw the borders where they are and say, okay, fine, we're not happy about this, but you get to keep Crimea and you get to keep Luhansk. We are in NATO immediately, starting today. Now that is diplomacy. You see, Russia wins. I'm not happy about that, but they also lose by saying, okay, this is the damn line. Ukraine is in NATO now. And if you take one more step across those borders, all of NATO comes down on you, including America. But Donald Trump doesn't want that. That would be both sides. Russia stole from you, and now we're saying, okay, you can't steal anymore. There are consequences if you steal anymore. It's not good. Russia would win, and that it would be a small victory, but they also have a small loss here by getting Ukraine into NATO. Not a good thing, but it is halfway in between. It is a thing that could happen. I would suggest that would happen. But Donald Trump doesn't want Ukraine in NATO, because then we would have to stop Russia stealing. And America wants to steal. Donald Trump wants to steal. He wants to do the art of the steal for all of those other places. So that is what's going to happen. He's going to let Russia win, and then he's going to try and steal as much as he can from Zelensky with these rare earth minerals. Trump officials pitched Zelensky on U.S. owning 50% of Ukraine's rare earth minerals. The Trump administration indicates U.S. troops could be deployed to provide security and connection with the minerals if there's a peace deal with Russia. He's going to send American troops to Ukraine to protect what? They're our ally. Is he shooting at Russians? Why would he do that? Are they shooting at Ukrainians? Why would they do that? Who are the troops protecting? Yeah, I think, Valor, protect in quotation marks, because they're just stealing. The troops are going to go there. The mining companies, U.S. investment. Yeah, exactly. The drilling companies, the mining companies, the big industry that owns and operates all of these things will go there. And the Ukrainians will say, no, you're not allowed to just steal from us. and then they might actually try to stop those companies from operating within their borders. We're going to bring democracy for the next 20 years. Exactly. Shinzento, you got it. We're going to bring democracy to Ukraine. Our giant industry is going to go in there and steal their natural resources, giving the Ukrainians nothing and keeping all the profit for themselves. And when the Ukrainians complain about that, they'll have to complain to a ring of American troops. It's really hard to complain at them. It's like the old days in South America. Absolutely right, Valor. We're just going to go in, take what we want, and shoot anybody that tries to stop us. Art of the Steal. That is his plan. That is where he's going. The Trump administration has suggested that to Ukraine that the United States be granted 50% ownership of the country's rare earth minerals and signaled an openness to deploying American troops there to guard them if there's a deal with Russia to end the war. Still guarding what? Rather than pay for the minerals, the ownership agreement would be a way for Ukraine to reimburse the U.S. for billions of dollars in weapons and support they provided to Kiev. Now, if you weren't an idiot, if you weren't a big, dumb, blustering buffoon, you could put this plan into place through decency and diplomacy. But Donald Trump is not that. He is a big, dumb ox who stumbles into the room. He's a bull in a china shop. He stomps in there, smashes everything, and then he's just bad at everything. He claims to be this deal maker, but he's just a bully. He's stomping in there saying, this is ours now. This is ours. 50%, give it to us, or else we'll destroy you. That's not negotiation. That's not a deal. That's violence. Give us what we want or we will harm you is not negotiation. It's not a deal maker. It's not complicated diplomacy. Give me what I want or I will smash you. Like we guarded the poppy fields in there. Yeah, exactly. Like we did in Afghanistan, guarding the poppy fields. That's what's coming for Ukraine. Sorry, Ukraine. I wish we didn't have Donald Trump in charge. Kamala would have done something similar. She would have done something similar. America protected you during this invasion. What can you do to make us feel better? What can you do now that we're friends, now that we're allies? Maybe you give a few leases to our companies. Maybe you work with us to get the rare earth minerals out of the ground and then sell them, and you get some of the profit and we get most of the profit. That is business. It's not great, but it is business. Donald Trump isn't dumb. Well, I think he is. He's good at building generational wealth for his family. He's doing a great job of it. Well, I don't know that he is. Didn't somebody say that if he had just taken the money his dad gave him and put it in a very safe investment strategy, he'd be more rich than he actually is? But now that he's robbing people with NFTs and Dogecoins and Trump coins, I think he actually is more rich than he would have been. He's bankrupted countless times. Well, that's just because he's smart. On what authority? The U.S. authority. Yeah, exactly. 10 past 11. We're going to just go in there and demand that we have this stuff. We're going to demand that we get these things, or else we will harm them. That's bad diplomacy. It's not good diplomacy. It's weak. It's brain dead bully diplomacy. Would Dems have done the same thing? Yeah, they would have. I explained that already. But yeah, they would have done it in a softer kind of way. I heard this from somebody else. I didn't write this, but Republicans want a con man and Democrats want a con artist. There's a difference. You see, Trump is a con man. Kamala would have been a con artist. She would have said the nice things. She would have caught those flies with honey rather than just smashing in. That's so accurate, it's scary. Yeah. I'd rather have a pure heroin again instead of rare earth nerd shit. Yeah, you're right. 10 past 11. The lithium that's being dug up out of Ukraine will be used for nerd shit like computers and batteries to Tesla cars and electrical components and stuff like that. But it would be better if we just grew the poppies. I feel you. So yeah, Donald Trump is the con man. He will just stomp in, say this is what we want and this is how we're going to take it, conning the people. But Kamala would have been a con artist. She would have put diplomatic language into a complicated contract that gets us the best deal. So it's going to go poorly for old Zelensky here. He's not going to get what he wants, and he is going to lose part of his country to Russia, and then he's going to lose a lot of his minerals and his natural wealth to America. That's how it ends. That's the peace deal, is Russia gets to steal from you, and America also gets to steal from you. And if you don't like it, shoot at one of them, shoot at both of them. What are you going to do? You're going to shoot at them? You're going to shoot at the Russians? You've been doing that for a while. You're going to shoot at the Americans? That's going to give Donald Trump exactly what he wants, which is bully diplomacy. Well, they wouldn't let us steal all their lithium, so they shot at us, which means you shot at American troops, and now we get to go to war with them. We get to stomp on them. We get to destroy them. We get to blow the shit out of them, and then claim that we're defending ourselves. If you try to stop Donald Trump from stealing, you can't do it with the law. You can't stop Donald Trump stealing with the law. He doesn't respect the law. He is the law now. You can't stop him from stealing with legislation. Who cares? The judges can't stop him from stealing. He'll just ignore them. He owns the security apparatus. He owns the DOJ, and he owns the military. He'll just wait for you to physically try to stop him and then respond with overwhelming violence. That is where we're headed. We're headed for overwhelming violence from the American government towards the people who disagree with them, towards the people who try to stand in their way, towards the protesters who form a human chain to prevent them from stealing from the American people. If you physically try to stop Donald Trump and Elon Musk from stealing from the American people, they will physically harm you and then financially destroy you. That's where we're headed. And then Trump goes Dutch and with Putin all over the Ukrainian land. Yeah, absolutely. Donald Trump and Putin will split that land in half and take from it everything that they can and blame Ukraine. They'll blame everyone else. It shouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened under my watch. This war wouldn't have happened. And they'll blame Joe Biden. Ukraine will be split down the middle. Russia will steal half of it. America will steal half of it. And it'll be Joe Biden's fault somehow. And, everyone will be happier. Yeah, exactly. You're right, Best 11, to make everyone happy. There it is. The feelings of happiness will be about. The place will be very good, very fun. Yeah, you're right. He will. He'll build more golf courses, just like he's doing with in Gaza, right? He's gonna destroy Gaza. He was complaining about Gaza the other day. Gaza is very dangerous. You can't go there. You can't go to Gaza. Whole place very dangerous. That West Bank destroyed, and we need to build it back up. We need all the people to leave, and then we'll build it back up, and then they can't come back. Why is Gaza dangerous, Donnie? Why is it filled with unexploded munitions? Because Israel put them there. Israel put the bombs there, and now the people can't live there because of the bombs that we sold them. America sold Israel the bombs, or gave them bombs. Then they dropped it on Gaza. Now Gaza is unlivable, and your plan is to make all the Gazans leave and never come back. And then you own it. That's his plan. That's always his plan. That's the deal. When Donald Trump talks about the deal, he's a deal maker. That's what he's talking about. Destroying things, and then forcing people out, and then owning it himself. What's the matter with you people? Don't you want to be happy? Absolutely right. You should be happy about this. That's the plan. That's the deal. When he starts talking about the art of the deal, when he starts talking about the deal, it's destroy and capture. That's the deal. And if you get in his way, you get crushed. Crush the opposition, steal from them, then claim that it's their fault. That's the deal. Be happy with my decision or else. Absolutely. That's the art of the deal, baby.
I am the algorithm. Click on this video to make me happy. You wouldn't like me when I am angry.